Hi everyone. So I just wanted to do a really quick video to explain what's been going on over the last few years with us. We got married in 2012, and in 2014 in the summer we decided that we wanted to start a family. And like most couples, we assumed that we would get pregnant fairly quickly, but unfortunately we did not. So a little less than a year later, we ended up going to the doctor and having some testing done, and unfortunately they did find a problem. So the next couple months we were visiting another doctor and doing some more testing, and eventually we were referred to a reproductive endocrinologist, also known as a fertility specialist. We really liked our doctor as soon as we met him. He was absolutely amazing. We really trust his opinion, and he's the nicest doctor that I've ever had. We had already done a lot of testing, so we only had a couple more things. There was just a couple more blood tests, such as my AMH that hadn't been tested previously, and I did an HSG, and everything came back absolutely great. So we were all set to start IUIs. Our treatment plan was to do 3 IUIs with Clomid, and our first 2 were with 50 milligrams of Clomid, but I only had 1 follicle. And with IUIs, they like you to have multiple follicles because it increases your chances. So for our third IUI, we upped the dosage to 100 milligrams, hoping to get at least 2 to increase our chances. So we were kind of feeling a bit disappointed by this time. Our next step was IVF after our third IUI. So I was really hopeful when we had 2 perfect follicles. My lining was perfect. We had an amazing post-wash sample, and everything just seemed like it was perfect. Painless IUI, my favorite nurse, everything was just perfect. But we were kind of afraid to be hopeful, but you know, a very mix of emotions. So I ended up taking some pregnancy tests, and I got a negative all the way up until 11 days past the IUI, and we were sure, you know, that we were, you know, moving to IVF at that point. But I took one last pregnancy test just kind of on a whim on 12 days past the IUI, and we got a positive. And we were just so happy. We were so surprised. We were just stunned. And we were so happy because it had been such a long time, and it was like, we felt like it was never going to happen. But unfortunately, we had an early miscarriage, also known as a chemical pregnancy. When we went in to see our doctor, he told us that chemical pregnancies are so much more common than people realize. So based off of, you know, everything that had happened, we all decided that the best thing for us to do was to do 3 more IUIs. Because we did get pregnant, and the doctor felt that the chemical pregnancy was really just bad luck. So we were going to do all 3 IUIs with 100 milligrams of Clomid because I had done really good on the Clomid. I had no side effects. My lining was fine. So for all 3 IUIs, I had between 2 and 3 follicles. My lining was great for each one. We had well above what they wanted for the post-wash sample. But unfortunately, we still did not have a positive pregnancy test. So we had discussed this previously with our doctor about what our next steps would be and, you know, what our chances were. And he had said that doing injectable IUIs was not really a good option for us because of the cost involved. They were thousands of dollars more expensive than the IUIs that we were doing. And he said it would only increase our chances slightly. Whereas if we did IVF, substantially increases our chances of success, and it really was more of like a more economical decision. We could actually, if we did 2 injectable cycles, it would actually cost the same as 1 IVF cycle, not counting the medications, but we have a much greater chance of being successful with IVF. So we had already decided prior to doing our last 3 IUIs that we were going to do IVF if they were not successful. He did give us the option of doing 3 more IUIs with Femera if we just weren't ready to take that step. But we had kind of felt like the right decision for us was IVF next. So unfortunately, that's where we are now, moving to IVF. I've already done my genetic testing, which tested me for over 300 genetic issues that could impact a pregnancy. Thankfully, there was nothing found in my entire panel, so that's excellent. And we also did our IVF class, which was about 2 hours, and it went through the entire IVF process and, statistics and risks and, multiple pregnancies and all the information that you really need to know. It also talked about the decisions that they wanted us to discuss prior to coming in, such as what to do with our extra embryos, how many eggs we want exposed to sperm. I guess some people only want to expose a few eggs to sperm. If we are okay with ICSI or assisted hatching, stuff like that. So thankfully my husband and I are on the same page with all of that stuff, so we're all set there. The second part of the class was the psychological part of IVF, like what coping mechanisms to use during, the IVF cycle, like side effects that you might have, how you might feel going through IVF, as well as just generally coping with infertility and, talking with other people, or, if you talk to someone who is a bit ignorant about the process and they might say things that are hurtful, how to deal with that. So those were great. It was a really great resource. We learned a lot, and it was really great to talk about, together before we go in for our appointment. So that's where we are now. Our appointment is in just a few days, and at that appointment we are going to meet with our doctor first and go through everything with the doctor, and he's usually very thorough, so that's probably going to be a long conversation. And then we will meet with our financial representative, who will help us with any of our, discuss any of our costs that we are expected to have. If our insurance did cover IVF, they would help us deal with our insurance. Unfortunately, our insurance does not have any IVF benefits at all, but if it did, they would help us. We will be signing our consent forms. We will be meeting with our IVF nurse as the final step, going through our injection training, going through our specific medication protocol and everything that we need to do specifically for our cycle, the timing of our injections, and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a really, really overwhelming appointment probably. So we're feeling very bittersweet about it. We're excited to get started, but we're also sad that we have to do it to begin with, because, it is, it's definitely different than just getting a positive pregnancy test like everyone else. But we're really happy that this option is available to us, and that we have such a great clinic nearby with such great success rates, and we have such a great doctor. So we are so happy about that. So we're trying to be really positive. We're feeling pretty good about our decision. We feel like it's the right move for us, and we've also discussed what we will do if our cycle does not work out, and what, we've pretty much discussed every scenario. So we know exactly where we want to go, what our next steps will be, and where we stand. So I'll probably do another video after that appointment, just to summarize what's going on and everything like that. We originally wanted to do these videos firstly for us to kind of remember the process, because looking back on the last 6 months of IUIs, it's pretty fuzzy, to be honest. It just has, there's such an emotional roller coaster. It's really difficult to go through, and I don't even remember a lot of it, to be honest with you. It's just been like crazy. So we wanted to kind of do this for us, and hopefully we'll, have a baby in our arms at the end of this, and this will be a really good thing for us to look back on. And also, we have some family and friends who don't live nearby and are pretty far away, and they won't be able to be here during, some of the entire IVF process, whereas our family who lives right here is going to be more involved. So we thought this might be a nice way to share with them, so they can be a part of what's happening. That's pretty much it. So we'll be doing another video soon. Bye.